Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Planet X News. It is February 1st, 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I wanted to talk about Nibiru, mythology, and the true Planet X. The true, undeniable evidence. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and get my live stream chat going. Just hold on. All right, let's get this moving here. And what I've done is I've put together just a small amount of the photographic evidence, observational evidence that I've acquired, what I've found over the last couple of years. And I get a lot of questions, a lot of emails, and I just wanted to go ahead and apologize to a lot of you that I get so many emails on a daily basis and so many inbox messages. I literally could use a staff of people to go through the emails, but I don't think they would be able to answer them. But anyhow, I get a lot of people that inquire about Nibiru, and through all of my research, and I mean I have done my fair share of reading, and I've gone back through every stitch of documentation, reading material, history, documentaries, films, videos, and like I've said before, I have come to the realization that Nibiru, as people call it, and I've once called it, is pure mythology. Now, I'm not going to sit here and use the word fake because I don't think this word applies. But I want to set a lot of people straight that my belief, you could believe whatever you want to believe, but I'm basing everything on my acquired knowledge, my own observations, that Nibiru is a mythological story that was translated, as we all know, by Zechariah Sitchin and these so-called Sumerian tablets. Now, I've watched I don't know how many documentaries on the Sumerian tablets. I've listened to many people, scholars, not just some program on the History Channel, but I've listened to everything that they have said about these translations of these tablets. Now, if all of you go back and do all of the reading and all of the research that I've done, you would probably come to the same conclusion that we actually don't have hardcore photographic observational evidence of the mythological story of Nibiru. Because, folks, based on all of the evidence that I have come up with, and I have captured 95% of it on my own, that the 3,600-year orbit doesn't apply to what we have observed and captured in our inner solar system orbiting our sun. So, let's get into the explanation. I have a little video file here that I put together earlier, and this is a lot of my evidence that I've come up with. So as you watch this, and listen to me babble during my explanation, then you too will probably come to the realization that the story of Nibiru is mythological and possibly some kind of disinformation or misinformation placed out there many, many years ago. And once it hit YouTube and the internet, look the hell out. It can go viral, it can go wild, which we've all seen it. So let's go ahead and I'll just start this little story time here. So going back to everything that I've learned about Zecharia Sitchin. Now, I went back and I started researching that man. Not only did I read each and every one of his books, which, was quite interesting. Let me open this up in the full screen here for us. And, the man was a writer. He was a researcher, an investigator. And he came up with these translations. Now, I truly believe in the translations of these Sumerian tablets that speak of the Anunnaki. I had a long discussion with Dr. Albers this morning pertaining to ancient civilizations. And I'm not talking about cavemen. I'm talking about civilizations that inhabited our planet 100,000 years ago, 1,000,000 years ago, maybe even 5 or 10 million years ago. Who knows? Maybe we will never truly know. But getting back to the story of the Anunnaki, well, there's a lot of evidence out there that they truly exist as an extraterrestrial race. And there's a high possibility that they did kind of seed this planet when it comes to humanity. But as far as them traveling on this planet named Nibiru in a 3,600-year orbit and looping around the sun and causing catastrophic destruction to our planet, well, based on all of our observations, based on actual, scientific data that's been pouring in for the last 3 years, I have come to the conclusion that we have a Planet X object or objects. And Dr. Albers and I theorize that, this is kind of a system of itself. It definitely has a much larger core or center planetary object, stellar core, brown dwarf, whatever you want to call it. But the observational evidence that we've acquired, what we have found, and this is a picture coming up on your screen very soon, that, this big main object seems to have other smaller bodies orbiting around it. Now, getting into real hardcore astrophysics and astronomy and what scientists have actually found, documented, and released out to the general public is, yes, these brown dwarf stars can have other planets, moons, other objects orbiting around it. So we know that part is true. But as far as getting into the story of Nibiru, okay, now Nibiru is supposedly making this 3,600-mile trek through space and then looping around our sun. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have been capturing this very large object and some of the smaller bodies orbiting the sun for what we have found for at least the last 3 to 5 years. So that kind of throws out the whole mythological story of Nibiru. Okay, because the object that you're seeing on your screen now orbits the sun about every 28 days. That is undeniable. So, Nibiru, within its mythological story, as it is told, speculated, it comes in, it does its destruction, it has a long debris trail of over 1 million miles, and it loops around the sun, it comes back out, it does more damage, the Earth passes through its tail, not once, but twice. Okay, well, that hasn't happened, but what has happened, and the information that we have obtained, shows that, yes, in fact, there is a planet X, as they call it. But there's many more of these objects orbiting around this central, I'll just call it the central monster, because that's exactly what it is. So, many people can criticize me for outright saying that the story of Nibiru is mythological. Now, you can call these objects whatever you want. You can call them Dick and Jane. I don't care. But when somebody calls me out on this, because Dr. Albers made a reference in one of her latest articles saying that Planet X is Nibiru. Basically what she was referring to, and maybe, just in her choice of words, that yes, this Planet X object, it can be your Nibiru. It can be your Charlie Brown. It can be whatever you want. We didn't label this object Planet X. I think the actual first person to actually coin the phrase was renowned astronomer Percival Lowell. And then, who picked up on that phrase and that name was NASA. Okay, they picked that name out many, many moons ago. I didn't invent it. Dr. Albers didn't invent it. And Zecharia Sitchin didn't invent it. So, these observations were being made a long, long time ago. But during that long time ago, the technology wasn't as it is now. And I guess, the powers that be and the space agencies, I guess they didn't think that people like myself and Dr. Albers and many, many others wouldn't latch on to some of this so-called conspiracy. I don't know the reason why Zecharia Sitchin wrote his books the way that he did. Maybe it was a little embellishment and story time. Maybe he truly believed at the time that what he was researching, translating, and finding was truly the story of the Anunnaki and their, riding on the back of this planet called Nibiru. The fact of the matter is, Nibiru would have been here and gone by now. When one of these objects in a 3,600 mile orbit, let's say, like Nibiru, it's been making this orbit for who knows how long. Hundreds of years, thousands, tens of thousands. Why all of a sudden would it stop this time around and now orbit the sun? If it's been doing it for thousands of years, why is this time around different? See, that's my point. We continue to capture this object, and we have some astounding photographic evidence. I would have to say, not toot my own horn here, but I will, beep, beep. But I don't think there's any other YouTube channel out there, or website, or Facebook page that has shown all of you the best photographic evidence. Why do you think they censor my channel so bad? Why do you think they have caused so many disruptions in my life and Dr. Albers' life over the course of the last several years? This YouTube channel has over 20 million views, 79,000 plus subscribers. But very few people now see the information. Now, we are all seeing the very, very severe earth changes. There is not a soul on this planet that can deny what is happening with our earthquake situation. There was a nice size 6.6 earthquake earlier today. They will continue, but you can't deny this activity is occurring, and it's getting worse. You can't deny the increase in volcanic activity. You just can't deny it. Nor can you deny all of the photographs streaming across your screen. This is evidence that the space agencies missed. The reason why they missed it is because I actually invested in figuring out a way where I can monitor everything 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I mean, monitor all of the NASA websites that deal with the satellite space cameras, like, the Stereo and Soho and the whole 9 yards. It takes a lot of computers, a lot of computer power, takes a lot of money. So that is one of the main ways that I thought of to be able to have the opportunity to possibly capture these objects. And we have done just that. I hate to be critical on others using the story of Nibiru, because early on in my research and in my investigations, I used the name too. So I don't want to sit here and be a hypocrite, but what I want to do is I want to tell all of you, show all of you my findings. Along with my findings, I'll give you my thoughts. Again, everybody is free to think in whatever way they want. But if you are truly interested in the truth and the hardcore science behind it, then you'll continue to follow this YouTube channel, examine our evidence. But ladies and gentlemen, we've gotten to the point now where we are far past making the discoveries. Okay? We know it's there. I'm sure there's a whole hell of a lot that we don't freaking know. No wonder I lose so much sleep at night, you know. The evidence is undeniable. I've been spending a large amount of time over the past couple of months watching the weather and weather patterns. I haven't been watching space as much as I used to because I already know what's out there. I've got a pretty good clue on its orbital pattern, the way it orbits around the sun, and the damage that it is truly doing to the sun and the damage that is being done to the Earth. See, the Earth is pretty resilient. You know, the Earth doesn't feel pain like a human being. So when one part of the Earth is literally boiling and frying in severe heat, the other part of the Earth is freezing. Now I'm referring to all of the extreme weather that the northern hemisphere is going through. The southern hemisphere, many parts of it frying, man. I mean, temperatures very, very high. So we are now getting into the extreme results of this planetary object making its way into our solar system. I mean, this is its habitat now. I don't truly know if the sun somehow releases this object and maybe it gets spit back out into the solar system, which would probably be a little terrifying. I don't know if we would ever see that in our lifetime or even 100 lifetimes. But we can't really speculate and think that far into the future because we have to live for today. We have to live for now. So, understanding that, you know, when this object came in and it brought its other smaller little objects, it stayed here. It was truly captured by the sun. If you do a lot of studying on, you know, brown dwarf stars and all of the classifications that they have for these stellar objects, I mean, they're pretty nifty. But they're also very, very powerful. And so is our sun. And at the point in time, I believe, when this object was coming in, the sun was in a solar maximum. Meaning the strength of the sun was, you know, super intense. So that's kind of like turning up the power on an electromagnet. So if you turn up the power, yeah, you'll drag metal objects towards you. I truly believe that, you know, that is what happened. I think there was an acceleration of this object, you know, coming into the outer portions of our solar system. And, you know, the sun's magnetic fields, the sun's energy makes it all the way to the end of the solar system. So I believe that's how this object was able to move in straight towards our sun. Our sun literally sucked it right in. You know, you see the same things happen with sun diver comets. They can't beat the energy of the sun, and the sun just sucks them right in and swallows them. But because this object is a lot bigger than a comet, it put up a fight with the sun, but the sun still captured it. Now this object is in an orbital pattern around the damn sun. It's not Nibiru, because Nibiru would have been in and out a long time ago. I don't care about any Dave Dobbs models or theories. I don't care what WSO has to say. And I sure as hell don't care what, some of these other crackpot YouTube channels tell you. You may not like me personally. That's fine. I'm not here for a popularity contest either, But I'm here to show you folks what we have found, what is truly there. Not some hypothetical BS. I'm not Mike from Nibiru News, sitting out in a treehouse in the woods telling you cockamamie things. I had to call this guy out today because he was bad-mouthing Dr. Albers and bad-mouthing me on one of his Skype live stream talk shows. So I called in. And then he soon figured out who he was talking to. And then he hung up on me. It was kind of funny. The fact of the matter is, folks, we're going through some very, very extreme changes on this planet. I've had several conversations over the last couple of days with people who I have associated with on a professional basis, dealing with this subject matter, who are now pretty damn concerned. And I'll be quite honest with all of you. I'm pretty damn concerned myself. The weather is a total freak right now. It even freaked Dr. Albers out the other day. It was 46 degrees here in the Pittsburgh area. And the very next day, it was 0 degrees with a wind chill factor of minus 23. Now, in 48 hours, it's going to be in the 50s for several days. Instead of shoveling snow, I'll be out cutting the grass. But that's not going to last. Because our jet stream is completely 100% out of whack. And again, I hate to repeat myself sometimes, but I know there's a lot of new people just coming on board. So for the guys and gals that have been with me for a long time, look, let me repeat myself here. I've been saying for years that one of the key things that we need to be watching very carefully are the erratic patterns of this jet stream, and it will get worse. I stated that in 2016, 17, and 18, and here we are in 2019, and the jet stream is bipolar. That's basically the best name for this polar vortex that they named it. We'll call it the bipolar vortex because that's exactly what it is. We're going to see such extreme weather in certain parts of the planet. Like, for instance, I mentioned back in, I think it was late September, maybe October, that what I was seeing with these jet stream patterns and a whole bunch of other information is that kind of like the south section of the United States leading up to the northeast coast would see a moderate winter, but back and forth patterns, kind of wet, warm, snow, back and forth, but the central part of the United States would be absolutely clobbered with heavy amounts of snow and very, 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 very cold temperatures. Last year, the same time, we saw the jet stream dip down all the way into Arizona, New Mexico, very, very close to the Mexican border. I mentioned that, watch, next year it will be down in Mexico, this huge trough, and sure as hell, last week it made it. And you ask, why is the jet stream patterns so erratic? Well, folks, again, hate to repeat myself, but all of the ice melt in the North Pole has attributed to the bipolarness of the jet stream. I've done my fair share of homework and reading and learning. I'm not a climatologist, but listen, I've gotten, really, really deep into how things work, what affects the weather patterns, what affects the jet stream, what makes up the jet stream. I mentioned not too long ago that the jet stream is going to be taking a massive dip, unprecedented. It will confuse meteorologists and climatologists around the world, and it has. The next time we have some really, really crazy weather rolling across this country, sit down for an hour in the morning, if you have the time, and just watch the Weather Channel. Watch and listen and examine and analyze what they're telling you and their reactions. Once again, I'm going to repeat myself. Going into the hurricane seasons over the past 3 years, I'm a very analytical person, and I've said this before. What do you hear the weather reporters and the meteorologists saying during these events? I've never seen this before. I've never seen this before, Chet. I've never seen this before. Holy hell. When a seasoned meteorologist with possibly 15 to 20 years in the business, highly educated, pretty much seen it all, except for that day. I've never seen anything like this before. Yeah. See, I've been hearing that for the last 3 years now. And now, we heard that in the hurricane season. Now, we're hearing it in the wintertime season. I can tell that the reporters that are reporting on these stories and the meteorologists that are bringing you the information, I can see their reactions. Unprecedented, man. The other day, it was colder in Fargo, North Dakota than it was in the North Pole. And then the other day, I don't know if any of you have heard about this, but on the Weather Channel, during one of their broadcasts, they were referring to the jet stream and they were showing their jet stream model. As a matter of fact, I just got some new footage from the Ayers satellite. Let me go ahead and show you guys this. Let's get out of this junk for a second. Let's check this out. I think I have it in this file here. This is coming from the Ayers satellite, and it is pretty cool. They just released this information, I think either yesterday or the day before. And this is going to show you this crazy erratic pattern that is formed once again, the bipolar vortex. Now, this is up to date. Okay, this is last week. So it's showing you that big gigantic trough, that big blue and purple trough that comes down. And that's this weird squiggly pattern that the jet stream has gotten itself into yet again. But it's worse this time than it was last time. Which means, folks, as the sun starts to dip further and further and further into that grand solar minimum or that solar minimum, things are going to actually get worse because the sun's energy has already embattled with this other object. Now it's going into an 11-year lull during its solar minimum, which means the sun's magnetic field is a little weaker, which causes the Earth's magnetic field to become weaker. So a lot of you have been contacting me and sending me, emails like crazy about what you're seeing with the magnetosphere. Well, folks, that's going to get worse. People laugh when we say that there are sun simulators up there simulating the sun. Listen, folks, the Earth is actually not cooling down. The Earth's actually heating up. Now, I know that may not make a lot of sense to you when you're freezing your ass off, but I'm talking about internally. The reason why we're having the craziness with the weather is simply because of this jet stream. It's creating all of these psychotic patterns on top of all of the ice melt in the North Pole. Listen, if you don't believe me, find a legitimate climatologist and ask them about it. All of the old ice is gone. New ice forms, but it's thin, which means it melts faster, pushes more fresh water down into the oceans, completely screwing up the salinity of the oceans, creating catastrophic weather patterns that will continue. See, folks, what you're seeing on your screen right now is in no way, shape, or form normal to what, the history of meteorology has seen. Because that's why they go on the air and they say, I've never seen this before. I've never seen this before. Well, shit. So now it's going to be in the 50s here after a whole week of, absolutely incredibly cold days. Like the folks that live up in Minnesota, North Dakota, Montana, Michigan. Ooh, man. Whew. You're going to see this come in again. Folks, our weather patterns are changing so drastically that spring, summer, and winter and fall, those dates that you associate with these seasons, well, you're going to have to change all of that. Because now wintertime is probably going to stretch all the way into the late spring. And then the spring will be, from, say, maybe late May through October, November, and then November and December will be fall. You'll have a short fall season. Hey, who knows? But things are changing on a very, very fast pace. That's something that all of us should be paying attention to right now. Forget about the history and the mythology of Nibiru. Okay, getting into Planet X, we know that damn object is there, and it brought some buddies in, and they've made our inner solar system its home. Of course, the government doesn't want you to know that, because that would just critically destroy all kinds of mainstream science. People would probably freak the hell out if they actually knew the truth. So they divert things. They put up their big smoke and mirrors. They don't want you to listen to people like me. They don't want you to listen to Dr. Albers. And she, she tries to educate everybody, to give them some of the pure science based on her training as a professional. Some people may not agree with her. Some people don't like some of her reports. But hey, you know what? She is free to think like all of you are. And I find all of her reports very interesting, whether I agree with some of them or not, because she doesn't agree with everything that I say. But all I know is one thing. We are in for one hell of a ride. So my objective is no longer proving that Planet X and these other objects exist. I think my job has now turned into, oh boy, I'm going to be explaining this till I probably take my last breath, because more and more and more people are going to wake up, smell the coffee, and they're going to be like, whoa, what the hell is happening? See, folks, that's already happening. More and more people are waking up. They're noticing very strange things, and with the access with cell phone cameras, people are documenting it. Now the governments don't have a choice but to come out and say, ooh, we got some severe climate change brewing, baby. Well, hell, we already knew that. We called that shot 3 years ago while you guys were sitting there in the government thinking about ways to lie to us. Hell, they've made my life miserable. They've made Dr. Albers' life miserable. But, hey man, it is what it is. Some of us have callings out there that we never hear. I don't know, man. Sometimes I think to myself, whew, what the hell did I get myself into? I don't know, like I said, folks, some of you may not like me, some of you may despise me. But in the long run, you'll always remember me, and hopefully some of my knowledge and what we've discovered will rub off on you, and I could guarantee you'll remember me, and you'll remember what I said. Again, I'm not here for some damn popularity contest. I give it to you as I see it. And I don't like to see people suffer. I sure as hell don't like to see people in danger. It's just as bad if I'm standing on a street corner with you and you're staring down at your cell phone and you're ready to walk out in front of a speeding bus and I see it happening. And what? I don't say a word. I let you step off the curb and get smashed by that bus. And then I walk on my merry way. See, that's not the kind of person that I am. I would say to you, hey, snowflake, pay attention. You're about to step out in front of a bus. Hopefully you listen to me. So the same applies here, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you listen to what I'm saying. Like I said, you don't have to agree with all of it. But if you sit down with a clear mind and you take a look at all of the evidence, it's crystal clear. God Almighty, I feel like a trial lawyer right now, and I'm speaking to the jury. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, so even if you're one of these hardcore debunkers out there on YouTube, and you think you're so damn famous, you got an answer for everything. Well, guess what? So do we. But there's one thing that all of these debunkers cannot deny, are the very, very severe earth changes. You know, ladies and gentlemen, for many of you that are maybe in your 50s and your 60s, just imagine what the next 10 years is going to be like. When you're just hitting your golden years, God only knows what is going to happen or what has happened. You know, whenever you're dealing with things on these levels, like you're dealing with a planet, the Earth, I mean, try to gather that thought. You can't change these things. I don't care how many HARP weapons you fire off. We are still just little human beings. We cannot battle the whole earth. We can't fix it all. Maybe patches of it, but you're not going to fix it all. And you're sure as hell not going to control the earth. And I mean as a planet. It's going to do what it's forced to do. So the earth is undergoing some very, very extreme changes. Look at your screen and look at the intense red coloring far below the equator. Why do you think our brothers and sisters down under in Australia are once again going through incredible heat wave patterns that will come and go as we have these erratic patterns of freezing cold and snow in the northern hemisphere? I truly believe, with the data that I have been looking at over the past couple of months, I truly believe the earth wobble is getting slightly worse, exposing more of the Arctic regions to the sun, and there's something else going on. I meant to mention on the Weather Channel, on ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, I think also the BBC, they all mentioned briefly about a 120 degree increase in the temperature in the North Pole. It was detected a few days ago. Now, what in the hell caused that? There's a high possibility, folks, that maybe there are several underwater volcanoes that have been dormant for, thousands, tens of thousands, millions of years. But maybe because when the Earth's rotation and its tilt start to change, when we start going into the summer months, more solar radiation is now clipping the North Pole region. Well, hell, it melted all the damn ice, so something has to be going on up there. And we're just not getting the whole truth. Little drips and drabs of it. But see, folks, when you walk outside, you can see it with your own eyes. You can feel it on your skin, whether you're freezing cold or your skin's burning. There are truly some freaky things being seen in the skies. Now, folks, they're not planets. Don't let anybody fool you showing you pictures and telling you that there's a planet there. Okay, because that's not even possible. It's just not. If you truly get down to it and think about it, look how small the moon is. They say it's only 238,000 miles away. I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But you see how big it is in the sky. Okay? Now imagine seeing another planet like the moon in the sky. What do you truly think it would look like? We all know the energy that the moon and the earth exert on each other, so that, dealing with our tides. So if you actually stuck another planet up there that was even bigger than the moon, don't you think that, would have tidal waves washing over entire countries? Okay, so we got that out of the way. Before I close out, I want to show you guys, and I was talking about freaky things being seen in the sky. They can be UFOs, they can be the special secret space program projects, they can be government projects. There is all kinds of freaky things being seen in the skies. Not only the rainbow clouds and all the damn chemtrails, which now they're calling, this is geoengineering. Oh, we got to cool the planet down. Oh, okay. Well, the planet seems to be cooling itself down quite a bit over the United States and other portions of the world. There's other reasons for this aerosol injection. I'm still digging into it. But anyways, Dr. Albers and I went and had some lunch the other day. I had to drag her out of the house because she said, "Oh my God, it was entirely too cold." And yeah, it was pretty damn cold. I think it was -2. So we went and had some lunch. There was a clear sky. And you can see the sun simulator was out there burning away, man. But I'm going to stop this video, and I'm going to show you guys these really, really freaky pictures that I took. And, I still don't know what the hell this thing is, but I'm going to show you guys anyways. It almost looks like a big cigar-shaped spaceship. We'll get into that. But real quick, remember when I was telling you about the jet stream? I'm sorry I'm jumping around here. Whenever I was referring to the jet stream. Here we go. Okay, we got this full screen. This is a pretty good graphic of what the jet stream should look like during this stable polar vortex, what was kind of normal in the past. And that's over here to the left, right here. But now, this is what we're looking at, the bipolar vortex. And you can see what I mean by the troughs. Now, this is actually a little incorrect, because this trough here should be all the way back where the red arrow is. And then we would truly have a great graphic, because that's what's happening. This wavy pattern is not exact. This is just a graphic. But we have all of this warm air that's being pushed up by the jet stream in the southern hemisphere. It's pushing this warm air up here just like this, and it's lifting the jet stream. There is so much warm air, once again, rolling up between Greenland, and it's making its way all the way up into the North Pole. I can show you that on the on another model. But that's what's happening. That's what's actually keeping some moderate type weather on this section of the United States over here. So this trough is dipping down, way down into Mexico, and then it shoots back up. So that's how I'm going to get my 50-degree temperatures here within the next 48 hours. So that's just showing you what is truly happening. The graphic to the right, it's a little off, but it's just meant to show you the weak jet stream, what causes it, what it looks like, these huge troughs. And, folks, that's something that we are going to be dealing with for a long time. That much is for sure. These pictures I'm about to show you are really, really kind of freaky. This picture coming up, I didn't take this photograph. This was sent in to me. We've been seeing a lot of these, and they've been coming out of Brazil and several other South American countries. They've been seeing these really huge, wild, luminescent, big mushroom clouds and really bad storms. But anyways, the pictures that I took, you got to watch this very carefully. Now, this is when we just got out of the car. We're in this big shopping plaza. We're about ready to go have some lunch. And I said to Dr. Albers, I said, oh, God, look, had a clear sky, sun simulator burning away like a big white light bulb in the sky. And within a matter of about an hour, we saw the chemtrail planes out. I videotaped a few of them. I'm so bored with it now because they're everywhere. And they were like crisscrossing each other. It looked like they were ready to collide in the sky. We know damn well that would be against all FAA regulations, but they're chemtrail planes, so they do what they want. But I said to Dr. Albers, I said, look at this. Look at these cloud patterns, man. These don't even look normal. And this one up here has got like a swirly, like a licorice stick effect to it. So I cracked off a few pictures. We went inside, sat down, started having some lunch, and Dr. Albers said, hey, let's look at those pictures. And I pulled them up. And lo and behold, I said to her, what in the hell is that in front of the sun or the sun simulator? We're talking about this weird thing right behind the sun. Perfectly straight line. Look how straight that line is. And it's dark. It's almost like it's a metallic object. And Dr. Albers said, oh yeah, I see that. What is that? I said, I have no idea, but that is really, really freaky looking. So I took a few more pictures of this, these streaming clouds, and this was the second picture I took. So it wasn't just an anomaly, it appeared in the second photograph. Strange. So I took another photograph about, I don't know, maybe 5-6 seconds later, and I came up with this. What the hell is that? I mean, really, man. There's a freaking 90-degree angle right here, and it almost looks like it squares off right here. Goes back through here, perfectly tubular, almost like a submarine. What in the hell is that? I mean, that's like something you would see on Mr. MBB333 channel, his channel, because he comes up, his subscribers send in some really, really fascinating photographs. Maybe I'll send this over to him and he could play around with it and check it out. But, I mean, whenever you look at that, you say to yourself, okay, what the hell is that? And it didn't show up in just one photograph. It showed up in 3 photographs. I don't know, guys. I'll put the pictures up on the Planet X News Facebook page. You guys can download them or copy them from the Facebook page and check them out on your computer, man. If you got a YouTube channel, hey, show them to people. When we came out of the restaurant, the sun was right over here. See the big white ball? Because it was getting later in the afternoon, so it was kind of setting. But then I saw this big feather just sitting there in the sky, all by itself. And then you could see right here, 1, 2, 3, 4 chemtrail planes, 5 down here. So they're all out there doing their work. But this cloud formation, I don't know. You know, I've been a sky watcher damn near all my life. I've seen things slightly similar, but this one was kind of just took over the whole sky. It was just really, really weird. And I moved over a little bit, and I took another photograph directly towards the sun and the tail end of our big feathered friend in the sky there, whatever the hell that cloud formation is. I'm sure meteorologists and debunkers will invent a name for it overnight. Now, I inverted those photographs of that object, whatever the hell it is, that was kind of within that big feathered cloud in the beginning and blah, blah, blah. And you could see that is one hell of a right angle. Whatever the hell that is. And there seems to be something faintly, obscure back here, but you really can't tell in the inversion. But one thing is for certain, that's a dead-on straight line, man. That's dead on. I used one of my programs that, you can put 2 points and it will draw a straight line. And I put 2 points in there, and the line was right on, man. I mean, that is a perfect, perfect line. So what the hell is it? You know what I'm saying? And this was the photograph where I took, full spectrum of everything. And you can see this thing right up here. What in the hell is that? Pretty weird. This is just an inverted photograph of the tail end of our big feathered cloud. This was just a spectacular picture. I inverted this one. It's kind of like a negative and just really, really odd. You can see all the chemtrail planes making their way, like 5 or 6 of them. But it was, it was pretty interesting. I don't know what the hell that object is. It's been driving me crazy trying to figure it out. Now here's a black and white. Perfect 90-degree angle right there, straight through. I don't know if it's tubular. I don't know if it would be saucer shaped. I don't know. Maybe it was maybe it was a damn UFO ship. I don't know. I mean, you could start to see the shape of it up here. You could definitely see that shape right there. That's got to be one of the oddest photographs I've ever taken. In the late summer, early fall, I caught those UFOs on video right out in my driveway in broad daylight, zipping through the sky. Not one, several. And, I don't know if any of you guys have seen that video, but it is undeniable. I turned all of that video footage over to the Pennsylvania chapter for MUFON. And Dr. Albers estimated those objects zipping through the sky at approximately 40,000 miles per hour. And when MUFON got back to me like 3 months later, that was one of the questions that they had. Did we calculate the speed? Their calculations were damn near the same as Dr. Albers. So who knows what's going on up there, folks? Aliens, secret space program, government. There's all kinds of crazy things going on in the sky. So continue to take those photographs. But don't let anybody fool you anymore when it comes to the mythological story of Nibiru. Because maybe Nibiru did happen tens of thousands of years ago. I'm sure that there have been so many catastrophic events within our solar system. That's undeniable. But what we're dealing with is the present and the future. And right now, the present shows that the theory of Nibiru is mythological to us in present day, simply because of what we have observed in the inner solar system orbiting our sun now. So it's not on a 3,600-year orbit. Whatever you want to call it, it's here now. You are seeing and feeling the effects of it. Plain and simple. And I'm sure if you keep pointing cameras to the sky, you're going to catch something. It's probably going to be somewhere in the lines of, I don't know, weird UFO type objects. That is truly an unidentified object because, you got 90-degree angles and sloping edges that are perfectly lined. Oh my God. I wish the hell I knew what that was. It's driving me crazy. But anyways, folks, I wanted to jump on here and I wanted to clear those things up. Because so many people, they inbox me and they email me, and look, I try to get through as many emails as I can every single day. And people send me links to YouTube videos with, Nibiru's destruction of the earth, Nibiru this, Nibiru that, the Anunnaki, da-da-da-da-da-da. But, folks, I don't have time to go back and research everything that I already know, because I already have, and I have already seen the true evidence of what is happening now. So we can't live in the past. We got to live for right now, and we really need to start paying a lot more attention to our surroundings and what is happening in the skies, the weather. And another thing that's getting very, very critical are governments. Not just here in the United States, around the world. We don't truly know what their agenda is, and that's dangerous. They're getting really, really erratic in politics. I mean really erratic. I'm sure all of you see it. Civil unrest is rampant around the world. Just look what they're doing in Paris every weekend. Look at the issues that we have that are being stirred up here in the United States to create separation of man. They're throwing the race card in. They're throwing the religion card in. And this and that and da-da-da. You know, we got, Donald Trump this and, Nancy Pelosi this. And, I mean, these people are a fucking soap opera. But don't put nothing past these people. They have a very, very serious agenda. Not only do you have to watch the sky very carefully, you got to watch these fools also. It's a lot to take in every single minute of the day. But we're going to keep on plugging away. And we're probably going to be talking a little bit more in the future about this very, very erratic jet stream, the damage that it's doing. The more information I find, trust me, you'll be hearing from me, whether you like me or not. Anyways, folks, I'm going to end our live stream right now. I'd like to say thank you to our moderators, my man Blue Kool-Aid out there. Dr. Albers was in the live stream a little while ago. I'd like to personally thank her for everything that she's done. And, speaking of Dr. Albers, real quick before I head on out of here, let me dip over here for 1 second. We finished up our 10th book just a few days ago, the day after my birthday. My birthday was on the 30th. And I know a lot of you that follow me on Facebook, you wished me happy birthday. I couldn't get back to everybody. I'd probably be here for a year till my next birthday. But thank you very much for all the birthday wishes. And we published our 10th book. And this is Planet X Reveals How the Universe Works. And Dr. Albers has been delving deeply, deeply into some of these subject matters. Maybe because some people don't understand completely where she's going with her work, you tend to criticize it. That's fine. Everybody has a right to their opinion. But these reports and the observational evidence that we've put together in this 10th book is pretty eye-popping. No doubt about it. And it's a great way to document everything that we've talked about over the course of the last couple of years. See, it's very hard for somebody to take a book away from you. They could delete my YouTube channel, throw away all of my videos, but we have something on a hard copy. And books have been around for decades, generations, thousands of years, man wrote things down. And we've just followed in their footsteps. Because it seems to have worked. I'd like to thank each and every one of you also for all of your support. And again, all of those birthday wishes. Really appreciate it. Made me feel good. So be careful, folks. Watch the weather very carefully. People are losing their lives on these roads in accidents. And it is a shame that some people are dying just from the exposure. So let's use our heads. Let's pay very close attention. And let's survive. This is Scott from Planet X News. Thank you for watching.